Hi guys, welcome back to another SciCraft episode. Today we've got episode 153 and the plans for today are to check out the progress of our machines that make the big Nether perimeter and then work on a wild wolf farm. So I'm really loving what's going on the server right now with lots of automated machines that have been working for days now, preparing the area so we can launch the World Eater. So here we got the rest of the 5 streetwide trenching machines we built in order to make the big trench on this side. So I've already used that on the long sides as well. The first machine has already finished. The other 4 machines actually ran into an issue. They got stuck on a chest of a Nether fortress. So that's an immovable block. We couldn't bring that up to be blown up and all the machines got stuck, and yeah, Tuno was fixing it. But now everything's working fine and they're about to finish here. We need to be a bit careful to take out the first machine so the next machine can go all the way to the end and so on. But there's a couple hours left until we have to take care of that. Right, then the dragon egg removing machine is still on its way. It's pretty good. Let's also check how far the machine that does the side trench came. I think there's about 1500 blocks left. Let's check real quick. I was checking yesterday already. Always quite a flight. On the other end, we also made good progress. The main side of the World Eater has already been built, so we just need to build it up on the other side. Also, we've been doing some math. Kinda was curious how many blocks the World Eater will remove. It's around 250 million blocks. So it's gonna be quite a lot of work done by the World Eater. You would need about 10,000 hours to mine it with pickaxes. World Eater will probably do it in around 60 to 100 hours, depending on how the server can handle it. Right, so here's the trenching machine. It's been running non-stop for a couple days now without any issues. Works really great. And here we have the main side of the World Eater where all the flying machines are currently parked. This was all built yesterday. Alright, now I just need to wait a little bit, a couple more days, and then we can launch this thing. Alright, enough of that. Now let's continue with the wild wolf farm. It's actually several days later, so maybe let me explain it for a minute. I got majorly distracted by playing Ark Survival Evolved with some friends again. We had a lot of fun, but obviously I neglected making Minecraft videos or content for 2.5 weeks. And I feel really bad about that, because the last couple of years I was kind of consistent with making videos. And lately I've been slacking a little bit. And just had some fun playing Ark for a while. Probably the reason why I didn't touch any other games the last 5 years is that I easily get excited about something and want to do nothing else but making progress in the other game. So that's my explanation why I didn't upload for 2.5 weeks. So hopefully in the future I can stick to Minecraft again. In the meantime, World Eater made a bit more progress. I recorded it already and will show it as part of the next episode. Right, now let's continue with that wild wolf farm. So while we make our way over to the spider farm perimeter, can also explain why we would want something as a wild wolf farm in the first place. I planned this actually a couple years ago during 1.8 times already. So there were basically 2 reasons for this. The initial reason was that it took me about 3 months and exploring quite a bit of the map to finally find a wolf that I could tame and have a pet wolf. I'm quite sure I was just especially unlucky back in the day finding a wild wolf. Now if I fly around the server, I find them all the time in forest biomes. But I want to spare the next person the effort of having to find a wild wolf themselves. And wanted to make a farm where wolves would spawn and be transported to a separate area, like something like a dog kennel, where the next person could claim their pet wolf. Just a reminder, unfortunately, it wouldn't work to breed your tamed wolves and give the puppy to the next player, because the puppy would also be assigned to the same owner as the parent wolves are. There's actually also a second reason why we would want to make a wild wolf farm. The wild wolves have a special trait that the tamed wolves don't possess. They attack rabbits and scare sheep, which is useful for an upcoming farm we plan to make. But first let's make that wild wolf farm and the dog kennels in the Nether. So back to the spider farm perimeter area. Why this location? So in 1.8 it was a bit more effort to make a perimeter before we had the World Eaters. That's why we wanted to have a multi-purpose perimeter here. So we have the hostile mob farm, the spiders, and the surrounding area was also prepared for a passive mob perimeter. So we didn't even remove everything down to bedrock here, because it would have been so much effort. Just removed all the grass areas where other passive mobs could spawn, and yeah, made sure that no mobs could wander in from the sides. That's why the fence around the perimeter. So this is perfect, yeah, perimeter now also for passive mob spawns. You can already see it. Over there we had some pig spawning, and we also got, yeah, a wolf from that. We already used this, I think, in an early episode once, where we needed a wolf. I really can't remember what that was for. I think somebody in the comments will probably remind me. But yeah, so this is a special area that I marked out. This is actually a forest biome. The wolves wouldn't spawn in the plains biome, which we mostly have in a perimeter. But here on the outside, we have a bit of a forest hills biome, and the plan was to build the wild wolf farm here. Unfortunately, it never materialized, and probably also never will. We'll probably build the wild wolf farm in a different area. The reason why the spider farm perimeter is not ideal for the wild wolf farm project, yeah, is its relative proximity to the Nether hub. Over the years, we kinda developed a fetish for lag efficiency, since yeah, we were so often confronted by the fact that lag is the main limiting factor in this game. So we try to avoid lag whenever possible. So we kinda didn't like the fact that if you would store the wild wolves here on the Nether side of the perimeter, they would get loaded every time somebody goes to the Nether. So the plan was to maybe store like 20 wolves in the Nether, which wouldn't be a real issue, but as I said, we have kind of a fetish for lag efficiency, so it would definitely be a little bit better if we would build the wild wolf from a couple thousand blocks further away in the overworld, so we would avoid loading those wolves all the time. So if it's a couple hundred blocks in any direction here, then they're out of render distance and won't get loaded every single time we go to the Nether hub. That's the whole reason why I decided against using the spider farm perimeter, since there are also other alternatives that actually don't require to make a perimeter. Another smaller worry about the spider farm perimeter was that maybe the portal linking could cause issues. So ideally we would want to have the wild wolves here at the top of the piston bolt. So this is around Y90, but the wild wolf farm in overworld we built at Y5. So this would try to link to a portal down there, and a portal 90 blocks up is just as far away as a portal 90 blocks over. So yeah, the portal linking might have become an issue. It's the second reason why we're just gonna build this somewhere else where we don't have those issues at all. Now I want to show you a potential alternative for the spider farm perimeter. Here we are at the rabbit farm perimeter. That's actually the first time I ever used TNT duping to remove all the blocks down to bedrock. Still a very old TNT duper concept, etc. It was definitely not a world eater. And yeah, that rabbit farm also never got built. But here I can show you the concept. If you fly up, you can see this is a desert island. If you would put grass blocks in here, rabbits could spawn. But obviously, since this is a desert, there are no other grass blocks where the passive mobs could spawn, except those that need to be removed. And we basically have a perfect perimeter here as well. Since, yeah, we have an island, nothing could spawn around there. So we basically have a perimeter. We just had to remove everything down to bedrock to build the farm really low to get a higher spawning efficiency. So this would be for the rabbit farm, but we can do, yeah, we can find something similar for a wild wolf farm as well. And it's actually really close from this area. I think just 600 blocks approximately in that direction. There's a potential spot for a wild wolf farm. So we basically just need a forest biome island. And I think here it is. This would be perfect for wild wolf farm. We kind of have perimeter conditions. And here are already the first wild wolves. So we could use this without having to remove anything. Obviously, if we would build the farm really low above bedrock, we would get a better efficiency. But it's not about making the most efficient wild wolf farm. If we get maybe 5 to 10 wolves per hour, then this is definitely enough for our needs. So we'll use an island like this one here in order to build the farm. Unfortunately, this island here is also not ideal. Let's just search for a similar area of the same configuration. This is a bit further away. One of our new server members, Helga, was searching for a suitable location, and here is the nether side of it. So there's really not much close. Here's the creeper farm, piston bolt. I think there is another piston bolt that leads to the first nether perimeter farm. So there's pretty much the basic spot. There's nothing around. Nice distance to the nether hub. Alright, now let's get the exact coordinates again. So I need to go to 287 minus 426. And let's make a nether portal. I've got to bring obsidian, but I always have an ender chest on me. And somewhere in my boxes I should have a normal pickaxe that isn't silk touch. We can get obsidian this way. Perfect. And I think that I also have a flint and steel somewhere in my ender chest. Unfortunately not. But we do have some iron blocks, so if I can find some gravel, which does generate in the nether, we can make a flint and steel, hopefully. Gravel is actually quite rare. I remember checking the side of a perimeter once, and in a huge area there were only 500 gravel blocks. So usually gravel only generates at Y64, I believe. Yep. Here we have some. Okay, I think it's a 15% chance. Get a flint and steel. Let's see if we get some good case of a showcase effect. Or I have to mine all of it to get a single one. I think we're already unlucky. This is pretty much like finding that wild wolf. I'm always unlucky with that stuff. Just need a single one, come on. Okay. There it is. Okay. Now we have the nether portal. I actually looked it up. We have a 10% chance to get a flint when mining gravel. So I don't think we were terribly unlucky there. Okay. Let's see. This is the spot. You have some wild wolves there, so it seems to work already. Some generated there. But yeah, as you can see, basically have perimeter conditions. Let's fly up a little bit. So here we have the island. There's some surrounding islands that probably need a little bit of preparation. So everything within render distance, so 256 blocks away, needs to be made spawn proof. I guess this is supposedly the main island. Then everything we can see in render range, we just need to remove some grass blocks. Doesn't look like that's gonna be too much work. Definitely a lot less work than making a proper perimeter somewhere without an ocean around. Okay, time to design the farm. I actually want to show you this one here first. This is a wild wolf farm that Helga designed on the Skyblock server. The idea is that we have a rabbit in the middle, and the wild wolf that would spawn on the side would pathfind towards it and run into the portal. And get sent to the nether. The other animals would be flushed over with the dispenser here, so this would get activated regularly, and everything else gets flushed to the side. And it would either, in this case, Skyblock, they fall into the void, but we could either kill them with fall damage or have some magma blocks at the bottom. Right, one problem with this concept, unfortunately, is that it doesn't work 100% reliable, and still some other mobs would make it to the nether. So this is one of the issues, and we would need to do some sorting anyway. So that's why I think it might even be better if you just flush everything to the nether, and then we don't need to put in the effort of getting rabbits into position, etc. And just have the dispensers here on this side and flush them into the portal. It might be easier, just run this on a clock every 400 ticks. That's the cycle in which the passive mobs spawn. And it might be less effort overall. Another thing that is important for animal or passive mob farms is that they have a high enough light level for the mobs to spawn. So we have the sea lanterns here, and you can only have the spawning layers every third block. If you would try this, and technically the wolf could fit under that, and also the chicken and the pigs, but they wouldn't spawn there because this is a full block and it actually prevents them from spawning. So we would need to have the next layer here, and that means also the 2 high mobs can spawn, so the cow and the sheep. So what I want to do in the end is something simple like this. Just activate dispensers, flush everything into a portal. Here we also have pistons in between to kind of save on dispensers, because it would punch out the water source here in between. Alright, then maybe some smaller details. We also need to get the light in. I had an idea of using the light blocks above, but unfortunately the glowstone block also counts as a full block like the grass block and would prevent wolf spawning. So we can actually check this out over there. I made a platform. Glowstone here prevents all mob spawning. But another block would be fine. If you would, for example, place glass here, then the mobs could spawn. We could actually try this out real quick over there with the test area. And it works, so we got some chicken and pig spawning over here. Yeah, there's even more. So this would work with the glass. And this has the advantage that we don't get any cow or sheep spawning. But since we have to sort out the chickens and the pigs anyway from the wolves, this doesn't provide any huge advantage. That's why I would propose something else. So instead of using the glass blocks there, why not use end rods? So this way we get some light into the farm and we at least prevent the cows spawning. So the sheep, let's get one really quick, would fit under there and would also therefore spawn. You can see the hitbox here, but the cow doesn't and doesn't spawn. So yeah, provides small advantage. We don't need to worry about cows in the Nether and we have light in the farm. Just this block here isn't used for anything else anyway. I had some help from Jorge and Helga, and we put it all together, so this is the final size of the farm as well. We would have built this on top of the island, not bombed down to bedrock, just to go for the high efficiency. And this way we're gonna get about 10 wild wolves per hour, which is definitely enough. There's really no reason to try to make it more efficient. Should also be a size that shouldn't take too long to build up. Okay, the wiring is actually also rather simple. Just have rail lines here on the top, power the dispensers directly, just have a chain going through. Fortunately, I just pasted this in with a Flapmatica. The water wasn't saved in the dispenser, so we'll have to see till I actually build this up in survival with all the water. Another little detail that's quite important is to have a precise 400 tick clock, since the game only tries to spawn the animals every 400 ticks. Unlike, for example, hostile mobs that the game tries to spawn every tick. So ideally, you don't want the area flushed while the game tries to spawn the mobs, so that's why we need to synchronize it with the mob spawning. The way we're gonna do it in the end is probably the simplest. We have an on-off switch. We wait for mobs to spawn, and then activate the clock, and then it would activate every 400 ticks after that. Could technically make a complicated detection system, but I don't think that's really worth it in this case. The other alternative works quite fine, and I don't think we're gonna use this farm too often, so the plan is just to get a decent amount of wolves that we actually later also need for another rabbit farm, and store maybe 20 wolves in a Nether in case somebody wants a pet wolf. So this won't be used often, so really no point making a complicated system. Okay, so half of the farm is already figured out. What's missing is the Nether part. We need to make a sorting system to separate the wolves from the other animals and then send the other animals to a farm upstate. Alright, so we will do that in one of the upcoming episodes. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.